Now it's time for Birds and Brains with your host, Quentin Quill, and special guest, Dr. Aviari, and live via satellite, brain function specialist, Dr. Arlene R. Taylor. Here's Quentin.
Oh my! They must be crazy about us. Us? More like crazy about me. Hello and welcome to Birds and Brains. I'm your host, Quentin Quill, live in Fiji, baby. And over there is Clifford, an African gray. Say hi, Clifford.
Hi, Clifford.
On today's show, we will discuss safety. But first... Safety, a phrase I've often heard. But when it comes to brain and body, it's a most important word. Things we take for granted, like thinking and moving all around, without appropriate safety, we'd fall hard onto the ground. Safety, a word we shan't forget. When we use proper safety, it keeps our brain. It keeps our body at its very best. So let's bring in, via satellite, Dr. Arlene Taylor. Hello, Dr. Taylor. How is my favorite brain function specialist doing today?
Hello yourself, Quentin. How many brain function specialists do you know?
Touché. Our topic is safety, and I thought you could give us a list of safety recommendations related to various activities.
There are thousands of activities, a number of which are quite risky and may be appropriate for some, but totally inappropriate for others.
Good point, but in terms of safety, I was thinking more about avoidable versus unavoidable accidents.
You're absolutely correct, Quentin. And yet, estimates are that at least 50% of accidents could have been prevented with some forethought.
50%? Wow! That's a lot of avoidability, probably a lot of non-forethought too, if that's even a word. If not, I just made one up.
What is forethought, Dr. Taylor? Is it when you think about something 4 times before you do it?
Well, that is one way to think about forethought, Clifford. My brain's opinion is that it would be helpful if some adopted that habit.
Never mind him, Dr. Taylor. Please go on.
Forethought means that you've weighed the pros and cons and considered the odds. You either choose to take a calculated risk or decide the price is too high. And that does take some thought.
The topic of preventable accidents reminds me of a lyric my granny used to say. Here it is. An accident really uncanny befell my unfortunate granny. She sat down in a chair while her false teeth were there and bit her right there on the fanny. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'd say that was a preventable accident. Every year, thousands of emergency room visits are due to distracted driving or walking. Preventable.
It really is about choices.
Yes, Quentin. Life consists of a host of minuscule choices. The consequences you experience from their cumulative effect often impact safety.
Makes sense. So, Doc, how does one make good choices?
Well, first, understand that no one can have everything. In life, you always give up something to get something. Give your brain only 2 options at a time. since it only has 2 hemispheres. Go down the list, comparing options 2 at a time, and end up with the one you prefer. Identify what must be given up if you choose that option. Then ask, is it worth it? Maturity involves developing a set of skills that help you evaluate what you must give up in order to get what you are considering. Looking at your life's big picture, what do you want more in the long term? A $1,000 trip to Las Vegas or a down payment on a new vehicle? Of course, it helps to be able to delay gratification when necessary.
Ah, yes, and that goes back to a person's level of EQ skills. High EQ can help you delay gratification.
You're absolutely right, Quentin. And lastly, evaluate the potential risk to life and limb. Ask yourself, is it possible to reduce the risk? If so, what's the cost?
Great strategy, Doc. Many accidents have cut short the lives of fowl and folks who otherwise might have lived successfully for years and years.
You see, knowing is one thing. Implementing what you know is another. Although genuine accidents do occur, prevention is definitely the way to go. I really enjoy life, Quentin, so I need to be proactive about safety. I especially make choices to avoid anything that might damage my brain. A functional brain in a damaged body can often accomplish a great deal. A damaged brain in an otherwise functional body, not so much.
Q, I wrote a limerick on safety. May I read it?
No.
Oh, let him read it, Quentin. I would like to hear it.
Be careful what you wish for, Doc. This is going to be real bad.
Said the girl to the doc in ER. I was tweeting so missed seeing the car. I could have watched, but instead I botched. And now I've got this huge scar!
Very good, Clifford, very good. You may have a career ahead of you as a writer.
Not bad, Cliffy. Not bad at all. Hey, look who just stopped by. It's Dr. Aviari. Well, since you're here, let me ask you, do you know of any studies that show how parent birds transmit safety information to their young?
Interesting you should ask. There have been some studies on crows. In a nutshell, crows can actually think. They can make and use tools, count from left to right, and understand the passage of time. If you do something to tick off a crow, watch out. They have very, very long memories and are good at recognizing faces. When they see you again, their entire family may swoop down and poop right on you, and more than once. Not only do they teach their fledglings, they pass memories to their offspring of situations that occurred before the fledglings were even born. So you just might face a generational poop fest.
Bombs away, I always say.
Sometimes you're so disgusting, Clifford. I think that we should close this show before Clifford gets out of control. Thank you for being in the studio with us, Dr. Aviari, and thanks to my favorite human and brain function specialist, Dr. Arlene Taylor.
Aren't you gonna thank me for my limerick?
No! Okay, great job, Clifford. Until next time, this is Quentin Quill, wishing you from all of us here at Birds and Brains a very safe day and a fun and rewarding life. It's the only way to fly. Say goodbye, Clifford.
Goodbye, Clifford.
Birds and Brains is filmed before a live avian audience.